Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so fresh off homework on the New Orleans Pelicans. Got the second of a back-to-back tonight at home against the Pelicans. And, well, there's nothing to really get into before saying Alvarado. Alvarado, y'all know how I feel about Jose Alvarado's inbound steals and all of the little moves that he does to try to take the ball from you when you're not looking. He got LeBron James at least twice in the last matchup. They blew us out in a stretch where we were playing some of our worst ball of the season. We owe them. This is a team that we beat by 44 points in the in-season tournament championship semifinals or preliminary before that semifinals, whatever you call that game. We blew them all the way out. They came back, blew us all the way out. And now we have a third matchup against these guys, which is technically a second matchup with these guys. So we still got to see them 2 more times after this. This is an important game. Last night, we had our, Nuggets night where they beat us the same way the Nuggets always beat us. They have a formula that works. Whether it's if we keep it close or they keep it close. At the end of the game, in the last minute, they just hit a bunch of shots with all the confidence in the world to send us home. This is just how they beat us. They call themselves the Laker Daddy for a reason. I'm offended by that. This ain't them. This is the New Orleans Pelicans, and they're on a 4-game winning streak. They have beaten the likes of the San Antonio Spurs by 1, the Toronto Raptors by like 30-something. They beat the Houston Rockets, I believe it was. And in their last game, they beat the Clippers on the road in this building. They beat probably the best team in the Western Conference right now. B.I.'s in a hell of a stretch from behind the arc. He had 8 threes against the Toronto Raptors. CJ had about 6 of them. This is a team that is playing really good basketball right now. This is not the team we saw in the bubble. Zion is healthy, even though he's considered a game-time decision. Sort of like our stars, he's always a game-time decision. So I expect him to play. Jonas Valanciunas, I think, is also a game-time decision. I believe I saw him on the injury report. We got to be ready for him, though. That's a big-bodied dude. He might be seeing father time right now, but nevertheless, you don't want him to have a renaissance game and rebound the ball on us. Given the fact that we lost the rebound total yesterday by 11, we are going to have to board the ball better. At the end of the day, Zion, B.I., CJ, Herb Jones, Alvarado, Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels, who's now getting a lot of minutes, Hawkins, who shoots the ball like a madman if they give him minutes, even though they hardly do. It's a dangerous basketball team you're going up against in New Orleans. They're playing great. They're confident against any and all opponents right now. They believe themselves to be a playoff team, and they've played solid basketball throughout the course of the season. They've had a better record than us all season long. So we can't come into this with lackluster energy. We can't come into this still thinking about the Nuggets. We can't come into this divided. Los Angeles Lakers didn't make any moves in the trade deadline. So that means we have our entire team, the same team we've had all year long. We wake up for the big games and fall asleep for the games that are not considered big games. This is not considered a big game, and that concerns me. You're playing against the Pelicans at home on a random back-to-back. They'll give themselves the excuse of being tired and get blown out. I don't want to see that. I thought our team played some inspired ball for the most part, but we had a few guys who didn't have it last night, and they were ultimately anchors is what I called them last night. Anchors. Bron and Austin Reeves just didn't have it, and we need them to have it tonight. Everybody else, and I mean everybody else, was playing inspired ball, representing Kobe Bryant with the Kobe jerseys on after we unveiled the statue. It was a special day overall for LA. And we capped it off with an inspired effort in the game. Just didn't win the last minute. Lost by 8 on Kobe night. Very, very, very disheartening. We got to come out here against the Pellies and have a much better go. We are in the midst of a pretty solid stretch overall, having beaten on the road the Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks, the Charlotte Hornets, and of course the Boston Celtics without our stars. So we know we can get something done. Jackson Hayes has been playing inspiring ball the entire time. Last night being no exception, where he was getting offensive rebounds and tips and easy buckets and just overall helping our basketball team blocks. He was special last night. Skylar Mays came in the fourth quarter, and our team went on an 8-0-1. He was playing inspired ball last night. We definitely want to see him get into regular rotation, especially with most of our guards being hobbled or out. We didn't have D'Lo. We lost Max Christie in the first half of that game where he rolled an ankle. Of course, we don't have Gabe Vincent. So it's time to give Skylar some opportunities out there, because I believe if we wouldn't have taken him off the floor, we would have had a good chance of winning that basketball game. And that's where I need my coach to step up and understand a feel has a lot to do with what's real out there. If you're going to take players off the floor who are helping the team to put guys on the floor who are cold, just because you want to fit your minutes mentality, this is what's going to happen. You're going to lose on Mamba night. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. He took Skylar, a player who was getting us the ball in different spots and helping and diving all over the floor, off the floor, to put a guy who was struggling, Austin Reeves, back on it. That's no feel there. You're just robotic. So that I don't know. I don't want to blame the whole game on Coach Ham, because obviously there were some other issues out there. But I didn't see the majority of my team let me down. Just a few people, to be completely honest with you, just a few. And so I want them to come back and make it right tonight. You know what I mean? And I want the guys who played well last night to continue to play well. I thought Taurean Prince was one of my favorite players on the floor yesterday. And y'all know I've had my issues with Taurean and the way that he's been used. I just hadn't been happy with him a lot of the time. But when we put him in the bench role, came off the bench yesterday and played some of the best basketball I've seen him play on both sides of the floor. He was tremendous. He made big plays. He stepped up in big moments. I don't think he had a single moment out there where I didn't appreciate what he was doing, for the first time probably since preseason. And so I really was inspired by what our team showed us for the most part. The majority, I thought Christian Wood played his best game in over like a week and a half, 2 weeks. He had been struggling on the road. I thought he played a really good game yesterday. I thought AD was passing the ball fantastic, getting rebounds, filling up the box score on the defensive side. And even Bron, even though he was one of the players that I didn't think played his best, had one of the best passes I ever seen in that game, with the tip pass that a lot of people think was a mistake, for which the timing showed me it wasn't a mistake. The timing alone will let you know that wasn't no ricochet. He tapped that to AD, and AD dunked the ball emphatically. And that, my friends, is what I needed all game long. And I didn't get that from Bron all game long. He got to the scoring department. He did some things rebounding and passing, but his focus down the stretch of that basketball game was elsewhere. His body language throughout the course of that game showed me that his head wasn't where it needed to be. And I think he was one of the anchors that kept us from winning that basketball game. If he would have been better, we would have been better. Because Lord knows the rest of our role players stepped up and was trying to rep. So I'm holding him to task. I'm sure he's holding himself to task. And we got to do better. We got through the trade deadline. We got through the Kobe night. Guys got to regroup and get back to it. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. Put your individual thoughts aside and let's get back out here. Put your skepticism about this roster aside and get back out here and lead this team. Because no trades were made, man. Nobody did anything. The market dictated that we probably shouldn't, and I'm proud of my franchise for not capitulating to a market that didn't want to see it succeed. That's the God's honest truth. I'm happy that Rob decided that no move is better than a bad move, because I was listening to the rumors. There wasn't nothing good out there for us. They were trying to make us pay top dollar for bottom stuff. That you don't make moves in that market, and you certainly don't let anybody force you to. And so I appreciated that. I didn't want us to do anything when the market looked that bad for us. And I think that's the difference between wanting the team to succeed and just wanting this moment to be what it's supposed to be in regards to helping this year's team win. We can't just do everything for this year. But those who are on the floor this year got to do the best they can with what it is that the organization has chosen to do. Can't get out here and sulk because we didn't see certain things done. Things are usually done every year. Now, we've only won one championship, so it ain't like it's getting us over the hump every single time we happy when a trade is made. You got to get out there and use what you have. If I can argue that the year we won a championship wasn't no moves made. We basically had the same team in the first half of the season we had in the second half of the season. It's when we do make moves we fall short. I think people need to take a look at the evidence. When we won the championship, we were in the bubble. Guys were sacrificing, guys were laser focused, guys were putting their own individual nonsense aside, putting, everything aside so they could be in that bubble. We're staying away from their family and all of these different things that were necessary to win the championship. That was the formula for this franchise winning that championship with this superstar tandem. Not let's make a trade and then none of that crap has ever worked here. Man, it needs to be said. For those of us who want trades, who need trades, who are sulking because trades weren't made, you didn't win any of them times when they did what you wanted them to do in that way. None of them times. So let's get back on track. Let's put our individual thoughts aside. Let's get on this basketball floor and use what we have and make it better. Not wait for other things outside of the situation to make us better, because you're going to be a champion if you sacrifice, not if you just capitulate and allow things around you to fall into place. Being comfortable ain't going to get you nothing. Making sacrifices is going to get you what's worth having. And that's what it's about for this year's team. We know who ourselves to be. We know who we are. We are a team that shows up for the big games and doesn't show up for the small ones. So you need to look in the mirror before every small game and make a commitment to yourself to say that's not how you're going to approach these games. You're going to look to the man to the left of you and to the right of you, and you're going to say, I believe in him, whether he's got his best game available as a superstar or he's a role player on the final, spot on the team. You got to really show up. And leadership is not about being comfortable. Leadership is about dragging yourself through the things for whatever they may be, whether comfortable or not, and keeping your focus to push forward. That's what leadership is about, and dragging everybody else if they're not going to do their part, holding them tasks to make sure that they are. I ain't see enough of that last night from the leaders on this team. I didn't see enough of that. I saw guys who were not happy about the fact that things didn't go their way when usually things do. And usually we fall short when that happens. So that's what I wanted to say, man. I'm holding people to task. I'm tired of the moping. I'm tired of people not believing in one another just because they want to see somebody else on the team or want something to go this way or feel like they're running out of time, and all that stuff is fine, man. I get it. But because you're running out of time, you got to seize what you have. You can't just make what you have worse with your energy because you don't like the fact that it isn't something that it's not. When you look up and you study yesterday's game, what you find out is the people who were thinking that way and feeling that way were the ones who were making it worse. It was everybody else who was believing in themselves, providing energy, providing that focus, that determination, that Mamba energy that was necessary. And it was the people who weren't happy about what they saw, giving less than their best, and ultimately it causing us to anchor in the direction of helping them Nuggets win the basketball game. That's what it was for me. You got to step up and realize, I am enough. Me and my teammates are enough to get what we're going to do done. And if we play our best, we're going to get the most out of ourselves. That's what the Lakers need to be thinking about tonight. That's what they need to be thinking every night for the rest of the season. When the big games come around, we know we're going to show up because that's what our DNA is about. But we need to challenge ourselves to fight these weaknesses. We need to challenge ourselves to fight this bad body language. We need to challenge ourselves to shut off all the noise. And I don't think we did that as a unit. I don't think our leadership did that. I don't think he's been shutting off the noise like he's supposed to be. I think he's been listening to the naysayers. I think he's been listening to people say this and that. I think he's been listening and paying attention to what else is going on. And y'all know who I'm talking about. And he needs to get back on track. We need to get back on track. Coach is still going to be here. Players still going to be here. It's you that has to be your best to carry this thing forward, LeBron. That's a God's honest truth, brother. Because yesterday, between Austin Reeves' poor play, Max Christie rolling his ankle, and LeBron James' body language just not being there for a million reasons that we all could speculate about, but only he really knows. I ultimately thought it was him not being his best that didn't get us where we needed to go to win the game. Austin's a role player. Either he's going to have it or not. It's Bron that needs to be all in, buying in, and let's go. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I felt like that's where he was at yesterday. I wasn't mad at him for not showing up to the Kobe ceremony because I felt like he might have had some good reasons for not being there. Or maybe he was there. He just didn't want to be seen. I don't know. But there's a lot of people mad at him about that. I'm not. But what I didn't like is his body language throughout the course of the basketball game. I ain't like that. I didn't mind him wearing the Knicks towel. I've seen people wear opposing teams' towels a lot of the time. I know he was trying to send a message, but I overlooked it because I did not think too much of that. That doesn't move me. He's still a Laker now. And this is a season where he has prime body to go out there and be his best. He is running out of time. He don't know how many years he's going to play like this. You can't take seasons off because your teammates didn't get traded. You can't take games off because your teammates didn't get traded, rather. You don't have that kind of time. You can't sulk on a night where we didn't make trades. You don't have that kind of time. So that's really what it comes down to. While he's telling the world and the Lakers and anybody who will listen, time is running out. He needs to understand that. When it comes to this sport, who knows? Not just for him, but for anybody. Who knows? So that's what I'm saying, man. Seize the moment. Play better ball. Get your body language right. Discipline yourself to get back to where you was back in the bubble. Because that's the man that led the Lakers to a championship. Not this guy who showed up yesterday. Not who he showed up as in a Knicks uniform with the towel on his head, demanding things be done. Things can't always get done. No, things can't always get done. This is what we got. This is who we got. And if it ain't enough, then we ain't enough. And that's it, man. And look, AD is the engine that goes. He's the one who does the most on the basketball floor for us on both sides of the floor. But it's LeBron James who has to be the leader and the OG. He has to be that dude, man. AD gonna go out there and push, and he gonna do things, but it's gonna be LeBron James who leads the charge. And if he ain't right, we ain't right. And I'm not looking for you to be nobody else. I'm not looking for you to be yesterday's star or some other player in the league. I don't care about none of that. You need to be who you are, man. And if you ain't gonna come through, then we ain't gonna win. Ever since I called LeBron out, I've had issues uploading. I don't know if, what I'm saying? Seriously. I've had issues. Ever since I had a moment where I told him to stop sulking on this camera, I ain't been able to upload a video in the daytime properly since. I don't know if people are unhappy for me for calling him out. I don't know. I think it's a hell of a coincidence. But one thing I can say for certain is this ain't going to stop me from telling the truth in this camera, not only to anybody who's watching me, but to myself. We got to step up. In whatever our respective lives are, we can't just sit back and wait for the world to be what we want it to be. You can't just sit back and say, because things ain't falling into place the way I want it to, and I'm used to it being that way, I'm going to sulk. I'm going to pout. I'm going to do whatever I can within my power to make sure that people stop doing whatever. No, that ain't how the world works, man. I learned that the hard way when certain things went down in my life and I had to capitulate to some things I wasn't comfortable with. Pulled me all the way out of my comfort zone, threw me all into uncomfortable spaces. You know what I learned? That I was capable of leading things in those circumstances, being myself within those circumstances. You think this adversity has stopped me from uploading? I'll upload even more. And that's the mentality I'm trying to inspire. You can't just sit back and say, because the world ain't going the way I want it to and I'm used to it, now I'm not going to do my best. Because what you find out is the only thing that's keeping you from being your best is the fact that you capitulate to that type of energy. You take that as a challenge and you move forward and you go harder. That's how we handled the bubble. That's how we're going to handle the adversity in our life today. Whatever it may be, whether it's coming from the outside sources, mistakes, people not being their best, whatever it is. You ain't going to win if you try to mold the world to be what you want it to be, because it ain't that. But what you can do is take on everything that's coming your way, be your best, and continue to stand. That's what you can do. And if you do that enough times in your life, blocking out the noise and blocking out what otherwise you feel you want to reject, if you take all of it for what it's worth and leave the rest, you'll find that you'll get better as time progresses in that space. You ain't going to get better if you continue to pout in circumstances where things ain't going your way. You ain't going to get better if you continue to do less when the best isn't around you. Being sad because the world ain't your team ain't what you want it to be, or what have you. You drag that crap along. You inspire it to the best of your ability. You teach, you practice, you pour more into yourself and you pour more into it, and it will give more back to you. Jackson Hayes, Skylar Mays, Torian Prince, they gave me what I wanted to see last night. They tried. Even Austin Reeves, though he was struggling, they tried. I need that same energy out of the leadership on this team. You can't control everything. You can't force people to do stuff that ain't in their best interest. You can't ask people to continue to sacrifice everything for you without being able to wake up on the day when you don't feel like sacrificing and continue to sacrifice too. You got to. Man, that's not just for Bron, that's for everybody. It's for me. Some days you don't feel like doing it. Get yourself up and do it anyway. That's the only way you're going to get out of it what it is you won't regret. What it is you won't regret. So that's what I have to say, man. Nothing stopping me. I don't give a damn how they want to slow down my voice or do this or that. I don't care about all that. You think that's stopping me from being consistent? I'm still up every morning doing these same videos, upload it, go live, whatever I got to do. Got 2 lives that are still processing, been processing for almost 24 hours. You think I care? I'm going to do more. Because that adversity is not going to stop me. The consistency within myself is what I'm measuring by, not by whether or not you hear what it is I'm doing, but whether or not I'm getting better at it for my own reasons. And if you happen to appreciate it, then that's just the excellence for what comes with the excellence. That's what Kobe stood for, excellence. Appreciation, the journey, and understanding the pain come with it. I'm not going to sit up here and wait for things to go my way or wait for everybody else to do their job. I'm going to do my job. Waiting for nobody to show compassion. I'm going to stand for what's right. I don't care if you feel like it's what it is should be. I know what I should be doing. I have a commitment to myself and what it is that my team would otherwise be, and I'm standing on it. So that's the energy I bring to you this Laker video today. It's bigger than basketball. It's bigger than sports. It's life. Things ain't always going to go your way. And even a person at my age, at 39 years old, needs to mature to the point where they're not pouting and sulking and capitulating to otherwise an environment that has spoiled me for as long as I've been alive, making me think that everybody's supposed to do what they're supposed to do, whatever that means. And I'm supposed to be able to appreciate that or otherwise throw a fit if it don't go my way. You learn. Things don't always go your way. There could be an unprecedented unhappiness coming your way because of the mentality of thinking it should and it don't. You got to be able to stand firm in that, understand that that's possible, and not allow yourself to fall into that low. So that's what I want to see out of everybody. Leadership on a basketball floor and beyond. That's what I want to see. I'm not saying we leaders of the world or you got to be president or whatever. Nah, just in your own space. Do your best. Look at the adversity around you and elevate your intensity so that you can match what it is that otherwise it's lacking. That is your job if you're a leader. That is your job if you're the basketball head guy. You know what I'm saying? Do what others can't and inspire along the way. And if you ain't strong enough to do that, then accept that too. But don't drag other people down just because you didn't get what it is you wanted to see out of the situation, or if nothing didn't come your way, or people didn't do what you wanted them to do, or whatever the case. That's unacceptable. That's not leadership. That's not excellence. And it ain't going to get you what you're ultimately after, which is a championship in this case, or your goal reached in that case, or what have you. Inspire to be better and improve upon your body language if necessary. But all this pouting, all this excuse making, all that other stuff that ain't going to help you, believe me, it's going to do that very thing, not help you. And what you'll find out is others may be inspired and you'll be the one dragging them down when you don't challenge yourself to get that under control. So that's what I got to say to everybody, man. That's what's on my mind during this Laker game. I know we play the Pelicans. Y'all know Alvarado's always on my mind when we play them. But this ain't about them. It's about what we're going to do when we show up. Is it only going to be a few guys, or is it going to be the whole team? That's the question I have for this Laker team. We're going to be wearing our purple uniforms tonight at home. We know we don't win in those uniforms very much. Can we change that narrative? They're going to be wearing white on our floor. They're white traditional unis. Can we beat those with them wearing them? That's the question, man. You're going to come out and be ready for Zion. You're going to come out be ready for B.I. Come out be ready for C.J. Come out be ready for Valanciunas. Or are we going to just have a couple guys have that energy, and ultimately our main guys just saying, well, I'm not playing with Donovan tonight. I'm not playing with, man, I wish that was Giannis. Or, man, I wish that was that ain't going to, those guys ain't walking through that door. You got to take what you got. Get the most out of it. Be inspired and play hard, man. And execute to the best of your ability. Shots may not fall, but you can always box out. You can always get back. You can always dive for loose balls. You can always get offensive rebounds. Effort. Tangibles. Picking your man up when you see him down. Clapping on the bench if you got to sit there. Blocking out the noise at the free throw line. All those different things that ultimately could cater to the game being its best on your end. You can always do that. No matter who's on the roster, whether you playing with a bunch of scrubs that can't play like myself, or if you playing on a USA team with number superstars, man, you got to step up and be your best from within your respective corners. So that's what I got to say, man. Phil Jackson ain't walking through that door. Kobe ain't walking through that door. You got to play with who you got. BDF 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.